Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. We are back again. Let's try this one again. The first one was all about here we go, Ricardo Calafiori. It started hanging at the end, but we are back again. This time to talk about Calafiori and who the next signing will be. The signings are now starting to happen. So for the people in the comments who are always saying this season that I will not sign anyone, I will not sign anyone, there was obviously no chance of that happening. Like there's surely no way we can finish second on the Premier League table twice in a row and then we don't sign anyone heading into the third season. So the first signing has officially opened and we're expecting more signings. We'll be discussing that in this one. If you're watching the last one, apologies if you had any questions, we send them on here. And let's get started with the breaking news from Fabrizio Romano just a bit. We already talked about it in the previous video, but this is what Fabrizio Romano's had to say. Ricardo Calafiori to Arsenal, here we go. Bologna and Arsenal have started to exchange documents right now, all sorted also between Bologna and Basel. Calafiori will sign 5-year deal, no option for 4 million season net. Okay, let me read that again. Calafiori will sign a 5-year deal for 4 million euro per season net. No option, I think, to extend to make it 6 years. We'd have to give him a new contract. Medical in the US, deal done and story confirmed. So that's our third official signing of the transfer window. The first real exciting one, obviously. We still need to sign Raya. I mean, Raya is not our goalkeeper. We still needed to sign him. So we've signed Raya and we've signed Setford and we've signed Calafiori now. So as I've said in the previous live stream, we've basically added Calafiori and Timber to what we had last season in terms of defensively, because Timber did not play last season. And obviously, Calafiori is not our player. We finally gotten it done. It's an exciting signing for sure. Make sure to check out the first live stream. I discussed all about it. I really, really like this signing in terms of now, this is why we caught the Chelsea fans. You know, when the Euros was starting and Italy was playing the first and second game and he was playing really, really well, Calafiori, the Chelsea fans were commenting and saying, Calafiori is joining Chelsea. We'll see who's better between Calafiori and Saliba. Jokes on you. Calafiori and Saliba both now play for Arsenal. None of them will be playing for Chelsea. That's an exciting signing, man. We've now basically made our defense even stronger. I cannot wait for him to get started. He's going to get started over the weekend against Man United. Probably will come off the bench because in this Arsenal team, he needs some time to train before he can join this Arsenal team. He can't just join right away and play. It's very difficult. Like back in the day, I remember 2012, I think 2011, I think we lost 8-2 to United and then we signed 5 players the next day and then all of them played the next week. We can't do that these days. Like you cannot join this Arteta team with the players that you have and then you just play right away. You can't do that. You need time to train with the team, a couple of weeks, and then you play. But for Calafiori, he can come on against United. He can play against Liverpool, whichever. He can even play in the Emirates Cup as well. But really, really exciting. So that is the first real exciting signing of the transfer window. We've only spent 33 million pounds plus some add-ons in euros. That is 40 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons. So whichever way you look at it, it's still less than 50 million in euros and less than 40 million in pounds. So that's an exciting signing. I thought Bologna would try and push us even more because half of that money is going to Basel and apparently Roma is also involved. I thought they would try and push us to like over 50 million. But I think they tried, but we didn't. We didn't budge. You told them, listen, you're going to reduce the price. The player wants to join Arsenal. They would actually easily have said, because this is the player who's wanted by a lot of teams. Like there's like 10 teams that wanted Calafiori. Bologna would easily have gotten 50, 60 million for this player because they would have just said, listen, we're not going to sell him to you. Let's have a bidding war between you and Real Madrid and Juventus and Chelsea and Leverkusen and PSG. They would have gotten more money for him. I still do believe if Calafiori stayed at Bologna this season and was sold next season, he could easily have been sold for 70 million next season, especially if he goes ahead. If he had stayed at Bologna, if he went ahead and had a good Champions League season and performed better for Italy in the next couple of games as well, the international breaks, and then had a good Serie A season, he could easily have been sold for more than 70 million. So for the ones who are saying just pay the money, that's not how it works. You try and basically negotiate with them and then drop the price. Now, instead of paying 50-something million in euros, we are now paying 40 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons later on. And that's an exciting signing, a really, really good bargain signing. Reminds me of the Timber one and reminds me of the time we also signed Odegaard. We only signed Odegaard for like 35 million or something like that. Those are bargains. Trust at 20-something million. looking at this team, and we've been able to build this team, like this is the first time in a lot of years, I know most of you would agree, that we have like more than 15 players that we really love, from goalkeeper to defense to midfield to forwards. Like we have a lot of players that we're really connected to, players who've done well and players we know that are going to do well. And mostly all of these players, apart from maybe three, to gather a team like that, like Man City have had to pay a lot of money for the likes of Grealish, for Gvardiol, at least like Walker 50 million or something. For our team, Havertz was 65 million, Rice was 100 plus. Who else? Ben White was 50 million. I think that is it. I don't think we signed anyone else for more than 50 million. I think those are the three players. There was Jesus for maybe 49 around there, and then there was Vieira for 42, and then all the rest basically Trossard, cheap, Martinelli, very cheap, Saka, Academy, but Gabriel and Saliba are signed for less than 30 million. So in terms of the business that we do, now let me show you. You see this defense? Calafiori has cost us 45 million euros. Let's use it in pounds. Calafiori has cost us 33 million pounds. Gabriel cost us 27 million pounds. Saliba cost us 27 million pounds, and Ben White cost us 50 million. How much is that in total? 50, 27, 27. That's around 104 plus Calafiori. That's less than 150 million pounds for this super defense. If you go to United, you know how much United paid for Maguire and Wan-Bissaka? Close to that 150 million for two players that don't even play, are not good enough. We've managed to gather this defense for 130 something million. And then you can even throw in Timber to the list. So if you add Timber to that list, we've managed to gather that defense of those five players for less than 200 million, which is really good. Because if we were to sell these players today, you would have to give me 80, 90 million for Ben White. You'd need to give me like 200 million. I'm not even joking, for Saliba. You'd need to give me, 100 million for Gabriel. And even we've signed Calafiori today, tomorrow you need to give me like 80 million for him, because when you come to Arsenal, there's an aura that you get right away that boosts your money by 30 million right away. So if you'd sell these players right now, you'd get like 400 million, and we only bought them for less than 150 million. So being able to gather that defense for that cheap, super exciting. That means, for those who say, what does Edu do? Well, he's not the one who signed Saliba. I don't think so. But the others, like Gabriel 2020, Ben White 2021, and Calafiori 2024, exciting signings. Last season, Timber. I think our defense is good now. Like, if we can keep all of these players for the next 3-4 years without having to sign any other defenders again, apart from backups, we are good to go for a lot of seasons. So that is the defense sorted. But we already know there's a lot of other positions we need to sort. Not a lot. There's 2-3 other positions that we need to sort out to keep on improving the team. Even though we kept a lot of clean sheets last season. How many were they? Like 19 or something clean sheets last season. And out of those like 19 clean sheets, those games there, like Nottingham Forest home and away, those should have been clean sheets. We considered like in the 90th minute in both of the games. Wolves, we gave away a goal in the 90th minute. If you look at there's another one where we considered in the last minute. Tottenham, we gave away a goal. Fulham, we gave away a goal. Like, we could have easily have had like 25 clean sheets in that team. So for us to keep that number of clean sheets without having Tomiyasu, basically without having a settled left back, and Ben White missed a couple of games last season, and Gabriel was not in the lineup at the beginning of the campaign. We even tried Partey at right back. For us to keep that number of clean sheets and concede that number of goals, very impressive. Now we are adding Calafiori and Timber, exciting. But we need to keep on improving our team. So let's go to the midfield. That's what we were supposed to talk about in the last video until the internet messed up. But let's start with Mikel Merino. Looking very likely that he will be our next signing in terms of midfield. This is what was reported earlier today from Spain. Arsenal have sent their proposal to Mikel Merino and are now preparing an offer to Real Sociedad for the player. Although Merino is getting closer and closer to Arsenal, the agreement between the two clubs is still missing. So this is the same as Bologna. You have to agree the personal terms of the player first. There's literally no need of you going to the team and then agreeing a fee with the other team before the player actually says he wants to join your team. The player has to say that he wants to join your team first, and then if you agree on the personal terms and everything, you go to the other team and then you say, listen, the player wants to join us. How much money do you want? What are the what is needed for us to do the deal, and then you try to do the deal. So you need to convince the player first to join you. The same we've done with Calafiori. Now that Merino wants to join Arsenal, we can now proceed to going to talk to Real Sociedad and telling them, listen, unlike Zubimendi, this particular player wants to join us. What do you need? How much money do you need? Can we get a deal done by this? Can we negotiate it? Can we pay in installments? Can we have add-ons there? Can we have a loan with an obligation to buy, whichever it is? Then you can discuss that. So Merino, we've already approached the player. We were told that Ateta has already talked to the player individually just before the Euros, and he's convinced him that, listen, you're the missing piece in this team. I think Ateta probably tells most of these players, all of those players, that, listen, you're the missing. I'm pretty sure he even told Setford, you're the missing piece in this team. You're going to rotate with Raya. You're going to win us the league. He probably told him that as well. As long as it works, though, because what I've had Jesus saying, what I've had Odegaard saying, what I've had Rice saying, all of them have said they've talked to Ateta one-on-one, and Rice said, like, I talked to Ateta for like 5 minutes and I told him, listen, I'm joining. 5 minutes. What does Ateta tell them? Jesus said as well, I got a phone call. I saw my phone ringing and it was Ateta. I started packing my bags before I picked up the call. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know what he tells them, but they're very happy to join us, which is great, man. 3 years ago, players like this would have said no to us. So that came from Mundo Deportivo saying Arsenal is getting closer and closer. The teams have not really talked about the price yet, but the player is preparing to join Arsenal. Fabrizio also said this yesterday. Arsenal's interest in Mikel Merino is genuine and strong. There have been multiple calls on the player's side to confirm interest. He's one of the options for Arteta. Now, Fabrizio says he's one of the options. I don't think there's too many other options, especially in midfield. We had like 5, 6 at the beginning of the transfer window. Bruno Guimaraes, Joao Neves, Onana, Fofana. But 3, 4 of them, even Luis has moved on. Onana's moved. Joao Neves looks like he's about to go to PSG. Bruno Guimaraes, I don't think is going to leave Newcastle. So it's Zubimendi is going to stay at Sociedad. So there's not too many other midfielders that we can go for right now, unless I don't think there's any others realistic ones, because Bruno Guimaraes would be like 100 million. I don't think there's other midfielders you can go for apart from Merino. And there's a couple of things that fit Merino very well in terms of joining Arsenal. The fact that, he's an aerial duel phenomenon, like in that midfield, like in terms of winning duels. Arteta loves duels. Like, if you can win duels for Arteta, Merino fits the bill. We were also told that we are trying to balance the team. Yes, we've been signing young players, but we've also signed Jorginho and Trossard, and now we are trying to get another 28, 29-year-old, and Merino fits that bill. 28-year-old to bring some experience in that midfield. He's played in the Premier League before for Newcastle. He's played for Dortmund before. He's played really well for Real Sociedad before. He's played with Odegaard at Sociedad before. The Spanish connections that we have with Arsenal, with the goalkeeping coach and Arteta and a couple of others, Raya, he fits in perfectly. Number 2, the price. So if we've just signed Calafiori for £33 million, if we can pay less than 40 million for Merino, I don't know how much our budget was. Let's say it was like 160 or something. Let's just have a random number. That means you still have like a good 100 million there to spend on a striker or a winger, whichever it's going to be. So that fits the bill. Now, how much does Sociedad want? They say they want 30 million euros, just 30 million euros. Again, very, very cheap. Another deal that you can get done very easily, and you can improve the team for sure. Now, last season, our midfield options were Partey, Jorginho, El Neni. This season, our midfield options would be Partey, Jorginho, and Merino. That is definitely an improvement, especially if Partey stays. I'm very happy with that. I did not want Partey to leave and then Merino joins us as a replacement. I don't think that is enough. If Partey leaves and Merino joins us, I'd still want another midfielder, because I want Merino, obviously, is more of a number 8. I'd still want a combative midfielder there in the number 6 role, to just sit there and play the number 6 role, whether it's in terms of controlling or just physicality. I'd want someone to sit there. I prefer Rice playing in the number 8 because he does a lot in terms of attacking, and I want him to make those interceptions closer to goal, not really in the number 6. I want someone to just stay in the number 6. Merino and Rice playing in the number 6, they would want to push forward, and they're good in terms of pushing forward. So I just want someone who's going to be the number 6 throughout. So Partey fits that, and Jorginho fits that. You'll never see Jorginho going forward, If you watch Jorginho playing as a number 6, which is all the time, you'll never really see Jorginho in the edge of the box or in the box or playing in the right wing. He keeps his position very well. Partey as well. Yes, sometimes he goes forward and takes a shot, but that's it. You'll never really see Partey on the left wing or on the right wing. But if you have Merino, Rice playing as a number 6, you'll see them. You'll see Rice in the box. You'll see Merino drifting to the left side because they know they can do it up front. So they have that desire of pushing forward. So I want someone who's just going to be disciplined as a number 6. Not saying Rice cannot play as a number 6 or Merino cannot play as a number 6. I disagree with people who say Rice is terrible as a number 6. I don't agree with that. He played for us there from August all the way to January, and he was man of the match like 10 times, a couple of times against Man United, against I think it was Chelsea. He was very good in those games. He was man of the match playing as a number 6. So he can definitely play as a number 6. But I prefer him playing as a number 8 just to have more control in midfield, someone who's just going to stay there in the number 6 role. And then I want Rice to make those interceptions and tackles up front. And from what you've seen last season, Rice is very good in terms of, scoring and assisting. So let him do his job up front. So Merino, I'd like him to come in, but as an extra option, not as a replacement for Partey. So let's see if Partey is going to stay. This was reported as well from Estadio yesterday. Despite Chelsea's interest, Chelsea, man. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Every time I talk about a player here, there's always Chelsea. Chelsea is always there. So it's great to see them getting rejected again. Despite Chelsea's interest, Arsenal are the team Mikel Merino would like to join the most. Oh, things you love to hear, man. This is amazing. Calafiori the same. Despite Chelsea wanting Calafiori wants to join Arsenal. It feels good. Just less than 2 years ago, they took Mudryk from us. They were a more attractive team because we are just starting to compete for the league title. We were not in the Champions League when they signed Mudryk, but now 2 seasons in a row in the Champions League, we are building the team even more. We can tell players like Merino, listen, you're the missing piece. You're joining us. You're not joining us and then Declan Rice is leaving. No, you're joining us. You're coming to join a midfield with Rice, with Odegaard, with Partey, with Jorginho. We're an extra piece. We want to go for the cup competition next season. You want to cover that 2-point gap with to Man City. It feels good. Like, it really feels good when players say, yes, I want to come to you without, like Vlahovic 2 years ago. We had to beg him and he still said no. While Merino is Mikel Arteta's midfield priority, Real Sociedad are expecting a formal offer from the Premier League that will satisfy their demands. So I don't know if you're going to go directly with the 30 million euros. The thing with that, usually it's very difficult to just give a team 30 million euros if they want 30 million euros and then they say yes. They would usually say, what, this team has money, let's increase that to 40 million. So you have to start from somewhere, maybe start from 22 million and then you proceed from there. Merino is still on holiday, so there's no rush. He's not going to be available for us during this USA tour. So we can still try to finalize it between now and next week because he's not available still. He's on holiday until August. Same with Rice, same with the rest of the players. So we can take time on this in terms of negotiating. As long as the player wants to join us, that's what I always tell you guys. I'm usually never concerned. As I said with Calafiori, I'm not worried a bit, even if we take 5 weeks on it. I want him to join us before preseason, obviously, to get used to the team. But if the season was starting in October, I would not care even if we were negotiating that Calafiori deal until August. Because if the players already said yes to you, especially to us, whenever these two talk to players, what we've seen over the last 2 years, whenever they talk to players, they end up joining us. Rice choosing us over Man City was enough for me. That is why I realized, listen, if they can convince Rice to join us ahead of Man City and we've never apparently won nothing the last 20 years and whatever, then there's something they're doing right. So we can convince anyone. So as long as we've told Merino, we've sold the project to him and he wants to join us, it does not matter. We are going to get him ahead of all of those other teams. The only fear with players like Calafiori, you'll always say 99% because there's always a 1% chance that what if they change their mind, and say, okay, I've decided to stay at Bologna. You guys are taking too much time. There's always that chance. But 2 weeks, we only negotiated the Calafiori deal for 2 weeks. That's not even really that long. There's some players that take like 2 months, like Caicedo negotiations with Arsenal and Chelsea and Liverpool, that took a long time. He was first linked in June and ended up joining Chelsea in August. So like that one took a long time. So Merino looking very likely as the next signing. According to Fabrizio, the interest is strong. According to Estadio in Spain, they're saying he's chosen Arsenal over Chelsea. And according to Mundo Deportivo, they're saying Arsenal have sent their proposal to Mikel Merino and are now preparing an official offer for the player. So let's wait and see what kind of offer we'll make the next couple of days, and then let's build from that. So let's before I come to Gyokeres, let's finalize all the deals that have happened today. Arsenal is playing in the next 4 hours, by the way. I'm going to keep this short. I want to sleep before waking up to watch Arsenal. But Kivio Kiwior, Arsenal have not received any approach from Inter from Jakub Kiwior, nothing agreed even on player side. Kiwior remains available on the market, but Arsenal now want permanent move on loan with a mandatory clause. He could leave as Calafiori is joining. Now that Calafiori has joined, let's see what happens with Kiwior this week. I think he's going to play today. Then the team is not out, but I guess he's going to play today. But could he be available for Man United? Yes or no? Who knows? Remember Balogun? Balogun traveled with Arsenal last season to the USA. I think he featured in the first game against the second game against Man United, and then he was sold after that. And he left the team in USA and he traveled by himself back to France. So that could happen as well with Kiwior. He could go to Italy and get his medical done and move on. But as Arsenal have said, you have to give us the money right now with the mandatory buy clause. We are doing that a lot this time. Most of these players that we are selling, we are not getting the money right now. You're going to get next season, because of the financial issues with most of those teams. So if a team tells you they're ready to pay you 30 million, but they're not going to pay it right now, and then other teams are telling you, okay, we want to pay right now, but we can only pay you 18 million, then I think they're like, okay, we can wait until next season for that extra 12 million. So players like Tavares, we've sold him, but we've not gotten the money yet. We are going to get the money next season. With Kiwior, if we sell him, we're going to get the money next season, unless another team comes in for him. With there's another one. I think Leicester also offering this for Nelson. So this is what Fabrizio reported today. Leicester City open talks with Arsenal for Reece Nelson. Loan deal with an obligation to buy, in talks over financial terms with Arsenal. So another one with an obligation to buy. So you're not really receiving the money right now, but you're going to receive the money next year. Now, as long as it's not affecting us as of now, it's absolutely fine. If Arsenal feel like they have enough money to still get transfers done this time around without having to get that the money that from the players we are selling, absolutely well and good, no problem. Because as I said, right now, West Ham could tell us we have 15 million you're going to give you right now. But Leicester can tell us we have 30 million for Nelson, but you're going to give you next season. I think the team will look at it and say, you know what, let's wait until next season to get that 30 million. You can have the player because it's an obligation. You can't change your mind. You have to buy him next season, so you can't change your mind if it's an obligation. If it's an option, like the Lokonga one, the team can say, you know what, you don't really want him, and then he comes back. So Sevilla is an option to buy Lokonga. They don't have to buy him next season. But for Tavares and Lazio, they have to buy him next season. And if Leicester take Nelson, they have to buy him next season. And if Kiwior is taken on an obligation to buy, they have to buy him next season. So next season will be filthy rich. Next season we'll be receiving a lot of money for this player. So Nelson, Leicester have open talks with him. Kiwior, let's wait and see what happens with that one. Smith Rowe doesn't really have to leave. According to reports, there are players that Mikel Arteta and Arsenal would prefer to sell ahead of Emil Smith Rowe. Arteta remains a huge fan of the player, and the club have not been particularly enamored with is that how you pronounce that name? Enamored with the midfielders available on the market this summer. The wishes of the player may be the determining factor. If Smith Rowe expresses a firm desire to leave and Arsenal receive a suitable offer, the club are unlikely to stand in his way. So with Smith Rowe's situation, Arsenal don't really want to sell him. And the player, I've heard that the player doesn't really want to go because he's like really, really in love with Arsenal. He doesn't really want to leave. He still wants to prove himself in an Arsenal kit. Now, that is the situation. But they're saying if a team comes in with 40, 45 million, we are going to take it. Or if Smith Rowe says he wants to leave, we are going to let you go. As simple as that. So it's still balanced. No one, as of now, we don't know if Smith Rowe is going to stay, if he's going to play this preseason and still end up leaving at the end of the transfer window, or is he going to stay until January, or is he going to be sold? We don't know what the situation is with him. But as of now, for me, I would have preferred to keep Smith Rowe in the team, but I've seen a lot of your comments. There's still like a 50-50. There's 50% of you are saying you want Smith Rowe to leave. Arsenal fans are too attached to these players. Fair enough. There's Arsenal fans who are saying that. There's Arsenal fans who are saying he's not good enough. Why are we talking about Smith Rowe like he's De Bruyne or something? There's fans who are saying that as well, but there's fans who are saying Smith Rowe is great. He should not be the first one to be sold. And I think Arteta believes the same as this is written here from Ghana blog. Arteta and Arsenal would prefer to sell a lot of players ahead of Emil Smith Rowe. So I'm guessing they would prefer to sell Eddie ahead of Smith Rowe. They would prefer to sell Kiwior ahead of Smith Rowe. They'd prefer to sell Reece ahead of Smith Rowe. So I guess all that could happen. I think you're going to, and out of all these players that you're talking about in terms of being sold, I think you're going to sell like 3 of them. I don't think you're going to sell like 5 or 6. No. We could sell maybe Nelson and Nketiah, and then Kivia, and I would doubt if would sell Smith Rowe on top of that as well to make it 4 players sold. I don't think so. There's other players who've been sold by the way already. Barrett has been sold. Tavares has been sold, and Lokonga has gone out on loan. So Tavares is also a loan, but an obligation to buy. So Tavares is not going to be an Arsenal player again, but Lokonga could end up being an Arsenal player next season. So let's see how that one goes as well. Did I read this one? I don't know what this one says. So yeah, Arsenal are the best placed team to sign Merino. So let's wait and see what happens this week if you're going to make the official bid for him. Gyokeres. Let's talk about Gyokeres. If we get Gyokeres on top of these players, what a time. So there's one that I couldn't upload in terms of, sorry if that made noise. There's one that I couldn't upload in terms of graphics, but this is what this one said. This was from Court Offside. Arsenal prepared to open talks over Victor Gyokeres for around £60 million, but Sporting still want 80, so that will need some negotiations as well. So this is what was reported earlier today. Arsenal will monitor Victor Gyokeres throughout the Sporting's preseason matches to see if they make a move for the Swedish striker. So we are going to follow Sporting throughout the transfer window to see whether we are going to get Victor Gyokeres, or I guess it's a case of seeing whether he's recovered enough from the injury. He's just undergone an operation 2 months ago, and that has kept him out for 6 weeks. So I think they just want to watch him and see if he's fully fit, fully ready to go. But from what it seems like, I think he's very, very fit. I think he played. Did he play the other day or something? I think he played and scored. I don't know. I had something like that. I saw Fabrizio saying something like that. I didn't follow it up, but I think they said that he played his back and he played and he scored. Let me know if you know that in the comment section. So Gyokeres is back. So we are going to send scouts to watch him and Sporting play. So looking at the Sporting games, they have a game on the 27th against Bilbao. So we can send, if Nico Williams was there, I would have sent our scouts to watch both Nico Williams and Gyokeres. So that is the 27th. So after that, we can decide whether we want to sign him or not. Again, we've already heard that Gyokeres is open to joining Arsenal, and Sporting are open to sell him, but Sporting want a lot of money for him, 83, 86 million pounds. So we'll need to negotiate this Gyokeres deal. It's not going to be an easy one to do because of the money. Now, Gyokeres and Osimhen have still not yet moved from their teams, not because they're not good players, but because of the money. There's a lot of money. There's no team that is going to splash that 100 million right now. But if you can negotiate and see a way of including add-ons and bonuses and installments and all that, it would be a big deal. So in my head, in my fantasy head, in terms of the signings you're going to make, I'm like, they've spent 33 million on Calafiori. They want to spend 30 million on Merino. Maybe because they are saving this 100 million for a big striker like Gyokeres. Maybe they want to negotiate it and sign him. Because if you sign Gyokeres, I think no Arsenal fan will even ask for another signing. Will be good to go. Like if you get Merino and Gyokeres, that would be absolutely fantastic. Now, someone like a Gyokeres joining your team, it's not even just about the goals. Like when someone signs that contract, just the feeling around the camp. I remember when he signed Aubameyang back in 2018, every single player was like, oh, Aubameyang. I've seen him scoring like 40 goals at Dortmund. This is really good. Like it excites all the other players. Like Saka or Odegaard will be like, oh, now if I create those 100 chances I was creating last season, if even 30 of them drop to Gyokeres, you can get me even 15 assists right away. Odegaard created 102 chances last season, and I think he had like 9 assists. So that means like 10% of his chances were converted. So all the other chances were missed, or I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how. I guess a corner and then a header, that counts as a chance created. So it's not like a clear-cut chance. Not all 100 of them are clear-cut chances, but there's 3-4 times I've seen Odegaard making a through pass and he's missed. I remember Havertz against Liverpool. Against Liverpool, yeah. I think he made a through pass for Havertz, he missed. I think he also made a through pass for Trossard against Brighton, he missed. I remember one for Martinelli, was it against Wolves away or someone like that? Martinelli missed. So Odegaard does put through those one-on-one chances, but we end up missing them. So if someone like a Gyokeres is through on those chances, he'll really, really be happy. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to score 100% of those chances. I watched Man City against Celtic yesterday. Haaland scored, but he missed 3 one-on-one chances. Though that can happen. So missing chances can happen. But someone like a Gyokeres, just someone who wants to stay in the box, get the rebounds, don't come back to the midfield or whatever. Just stay in the box, wait for through passes, wait players like Ben White to put in a cross. Like if Havertz and Gyokeres are in that box and then Ben White is running on the right side and putting in a cross, we're expecting a shot on target right away there for sure. And a player who he had 43 goals and 15 assists last season. That is 58 goal contributions. That is a lot. As I always say, whichever team you're playing for, 58 goal contributions is a lot. And it's not 56 goals and 2 assists. No, it's 43 goals and 15 assists, which means he's a team player. He can score, he can assist. Exactly what Ateta loves as well. Like the time you watched Calafiori, you can tell Ateta would love this player. Same with Merino with the duels. Even Gyokeres, the fact that he can assist and he can be a team player and he can score and he can do all that, you can tell that Ateta would love him. Now, we've never really, Ateta has only really signed Jesus as a striker, so he's never really signed too many strikers. But I feel like those are the only positions you can improve. The striker and maybe the left back. All the others, for me, Ben White is good, Saka is good, Odegaard is good, Saliba and all the others, they're all starters. So if you want to keep on improving your team, we were 2 points off Man City, you go and get a striker. If Man City beat us next season, we get to 100 points and Man City get to 100 points and we get 99 goals and they get 100 and they beat us by a goal difference of 1, you go again and you add another striker and you keep on trying. You can't give up. The position where we are, we have so many good players in this team. We have to keep on going. Like the team that we've built right now, I've been supporting Arsenal since 2004, and this is the best team that I've seen. I never really got to see the Invincibles and those guys, but this is the best team that I've seen us gather together. There's a time we had Aubameyang, great. Lacazette had just scored a bunch of goals for Lyon, great. But if you looked at our defense, you're like, this is not good. There's a time you had Alexis Sanchez and Ozil, a fantastic Cazorla. But then in terms of strikers, we were missing a lot of chances, didn't really have enough strikers. Another time you had Vermaelen and Koscielny and Mertesacker, but we didn't really have good midfielders. This is the first time that I feel like we have a good balance. We have these defenders, plus Zinchenko and Timber and Kiwi and Tomiyasu. And then you look at the midfield with Rice, one of the most sought after midfielders last season, got his country to the final. And then you add Merino, another player who got his country to the Euros final as well. And then you add Jorginho, a player who won the Euros last time and he's won all these competitions before, Champions Leagues and all that. And then you throw in Partey. Over the last 7-8 years, has been rated as one of the best midfielders. And then do we even have to speak about the likes of Odegaard? We don't have to. Like, we've built such a good team. It just needs 1 or 2 more pieces. Just keep everything together. Let's not talk about the team that we built right now. I think we need to keep most of the team together. Start from the board to the coaching team and the players. I don't think this is a time of saying sell 8 players, sell Partey, sell Jesus, sell Smith Rowe, sell Zinchenko, sell Vieira, sell who else? Sell Gabriel. Let's bring other players. No, you cannot disrupt the team like that. You only need to add a couple of pieces. That's what Man City does. Man City sell Sane, they bring 1 more. They sell Mahrez and Gundogan, they bring 2 more. You'll never see Man City selling 5-6 players in one transfer window. No, you need to balance it out. 1-2 players here and there, and then you add to it. That's what you need to do. And we need to keep the assistant coaches there as well, whether it's Yova, whether it's CC, that's his initials. We need to keep everyone there. MA, everyone. ME, is it ME? Edu, it's just ME. Whatever it is, we need to keep all of them together for now because they've already settled in as a team. Like if you just remove one of them, whether it's the captain, whether it's the coach, or you're just disrupting everything. So we are so close to winning that title. I think we're building very, very well. And then Gyokeres, there's this as well. In terms of how much money we might need to pay. There was talks about Sporting potentially dropping that price to 60 million. If they drop it to 60 million, I think we 100% get him. But as of now, this is another deal we'll need to be a bit patient with. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how much money we can pay for him. If we can do some negotiations and then try to get him. So him is back. It's not like who? Merino. Merino is still on holiday. I just realized just look at that picture of Gyokeres. I just realized he has like cannibalistic teeth on this picture. I had not noticed that before. Like someone did some editing, like vampire teeth. That is incredible. Like, yeah, we need some teeth up front. If he comes in with those teeth up front, that's an edit. That's not a real picture, I think. That's definitely an edit. But yeah, he would absolutely eat people alive up front for us if he comes in like this. It'd be absolutely fantastic. So let me come to your comments. I did a breakdown of strikers earlier today. I talked about Osimhen, Gyokeres, Tony, Jesus, and Nketiah. So make sure to check that video. Lovely said he played and scored a hat trick. Thank you, because I'm trying to see the results and I can't see it. And I'm like, when did he play? So Gyokeres played yesterday and he scored a hat trick. Thank you, Coyote, and thank you, Lloyd, as well, and Martin as well. So yeah, he played yesterday and he scored a hat trick. And that is a half fit Gyokeres. So imagine him and this Arsenal team, because we had a problem 4 years ago of creating chances. Now we don't have a problem of creating chances. Odegaard creates a bunch of them from corners. We create a bunch of them. Saka, Ben White, all of them create a bunch of chances in the team. Good evening, Glenn. We need a center forward now, says, the comment has disappeared. Says Anthony. We finally got our man, says Amadu. Yeah, Calafiori. This is a video about Calafiori, half of it. So yes, Calafiori is a done deal. As Fabrizio said, it's a here we go. Welcome to Arsenal too. Ricardo Calafiori, our first official signing. And when you get a player like this, then it makes other players feel like, okay, I mean, they've signed this, and can we also, should we also join Arsenal? I think we should, because they're building something special there. Emily, I've just talked about the striker situation. There's a full video I did earlier today, so make sure to check that one out. I talked about Osimhen in that one, and Jesus and all those guys. I'm 100% behind that Taz is seriously steering this Arsenal ship to Canaan, says Mubaira. We need to support this young coach. I've at times said bad things against him, but I know the good Lord will forgive me. And still, Liverpool, United, Chelsea are hard to play against. In most cases, we are having embarrassing defeats. Thanks so much that we are able to play without fear when faced these teams. Long live Arteta, sir. Yeah, I don't think you'll get a bigger fan of Arteta than me. I don't think you'll get any on this platform at all. I don't think I've ever said Arteta out even once, like since 2020. So if I got through those period, last season, there's a couple of things. Like last season, we are not beaten by any of the top 6 teams. As Mubarak said, like finishing a whole season without losing to Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Chelsea, that has never been us. We always get trashed by most of those teams. When he's doing the medical and joining his teammates, you're told that he's traveling to USA, so I'd say maybe tomorrow. Welcome home, Calafiori, says Prince. Welcome to Arsenal, says Uwadega. Welcome, says Muhammad. Abayomi as well. Abba, Consider, Ibrahim, all saying welcome. Daryl as well. Sherry says, I'm really happy for the great news and signing. We are gunning for the trophies next season. Hopefully you can pick up a couple, man. Lloyd says, Brother Glenn, how do you see the possible incoming players improve us in the title challenge? The moment Romano, here we go. They hate on the socials. I love it, man. I love it. I was just there in the comments laughing at them, especially those Chelsea fans. If you check the comments from 3 weeks ago, they were saying, yes, we are getting Calafiori, is better than Saliba. Little did they know, Calafiori is also going to join Saliba at Arsenal. They tell us Euro, I say 18 and 65 million. Yeah, they've signed the Euro, yeah, for a young age, I think with the 1 year remaining on his contract, and they splash 65 million. Us with Calafiori has a lot of years remaining on his contract, and he proved himself at the Euros as well, and you've paid that kind of money for him. Fantastic. Lee says brilliant player, worth it for sure. Mikelate is cooking this team now. Arsenal is going to compete with other clubs confidentially. Now, is it confidentially? Yeah. So it's not just even the Premier League, because you're looking at Man City, also in the Champions League. So Champions League, we weren't trashed by Bayern Munich like we usually get trashed by them. It was just 1 goal. So adding a couple of more players to that team can improve us. Maybe next season having Calafiori there and Timber there and Gyokeres there, boom, we can finally beat them. The only football team I ever liked, North London forever, whatever the weather. Come on, you Ghana, say Sheriff. Brilliant song. Takiro Tomiyasu as well as a defender says, yeah, Tomiyasu, and I can never forget Tomiyasu. Although we also have to be wary of the injuries of him and Partey. We cannot depend on them. We also have to have other options there. I think Tomiyasu being there is a bonus. If he's not there, we're just like, oh, well, we expected it. If he's there, we're like, yeah, Tomiyasu is back here in trouble. He's a very good player, Tomiyasu. If he didn't have injuries, this team with Tomiyasu fully fit, plus Timber and Calafiori, goodness me. Good signing by my club, says Diane. Please don't drop Kai in mid. It cost us last season. We can play well, but you don't win with him in midfield. We end up losing or draw. I don't think he's going to be dropped. Like the moment he moved to striker, He scored more goals. He assisted more goals. Like, he played better. Like, most of his goal contributions, like 80% of them, came after he moved to center forward. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to see him like playing as a front two. I think you're going to see a three three defenders and then two holding midfielders, and then like two strikers up front, and that still allows you to have Odegaard and Saka and Martinelli on the left side, or Trossard, whichever it's going to be. I don't think he's going to be dropped in midfield, although I still think we're going to see him in midfield 2 or 3 games, depending on the game. Anand says, welcome to Arsenal. Good evening, Glenn. We need a centre forward now, says Anthony. Gyokeres is the one you're looking at. For Osimhen, in case you didn't watch the earlier video, but I'd ask you to go and watch that because I think I talked about it for like 20 minutes. Do I have it here? Yeah, this is the latest on Osimhen. So it's not going to be both of them. It's going to be one of them. According to Di Marzio, one of the best journalists in Italy, he said Victor Osimhen does not want to go to Saudi Arabia, while other offers for the player have been lower than Napoli's demands. It is worth paying attention to the Premier League. It is possible that Arsenal could present an offer sooner or later. So we could present an offer for Osimhen, but I think it depends on how the Gyokeres one goes. I think Arsenal would want Gyokeres first, and then if it doesn't work out, they have an offer there for Osimhen. So yeah, if you got both, it wouldn't be fair for the other teams. You have to give other teams opportunity to compete. Molemba says we don't have a finisher center forward at our club. We need Victor Gyokeres. That statement is always very funny to me. No, not funny in a bad way, but it's usually an exciting comment for me, because if we don't have finishers and we still scored 90 goals, if we can get a finisher, we'd score like 200 goals. Because last season, Arsenal was scoring 5 goals, 6 goals every single game. If we add another strike on top of that, Golden says I'll be fine and the happiest man on this world. I want to hear Victor Gyokeres, prolific striker, and Merino, then I'll be happy. So at the beginning of the transfer window, last season, I said I didn't want a striker. This season, I said Arsenal don't need a striker, but I want us to get a striker, if that makes sense. By that I mean, even if Arsenal don't get a striker, we'll still score 90 goals. That is what I mean. But to beat Man City, that if you don't get a striker, it will be enough to finish second. So I want us to get a striker to beat Man City and also to beat those teams in the Champions League. And to get a striker in this team, it improves a lot of stuff. Those games where it's 0-0 and you're only going to get one chance, that is where we need players like Gyokeres and Osimhen instead of Havertz or Jesus in that situation. That I agree for sure. And then if you can score 5 goals without a striker, then bring a striker. Let's score 7 or 8. Let's do that. Why not? We can do that as well. So having someone there, having a striker there, these are the reasons why I also want a striker. Having a striker there, players like Saka and Odegaard feel better. Pressure is taken away from them. Even someone like a Havertz, he'll now feel like, okay, I have someone I'm playing with up front here. The pressure's a bit off. We can collaborate with this player. We can, have a connection with this player. The pressure is taken away from the likes of Saka and Havertz. Maybe competition brings competition. Maybe it energizes players like Jesus. Maybe Jesus sees Gyokeres coming and is like, no, I'm going to score a hat-trick. And then it boosts the team even more. So it's just positive all round if you get a striker in this team. Those tap-ins, those everything that we do, those chances we create, you could easily lose like one game in a season if you have a striker there and you have that defense, good to go. So some games, basically, if you also have a striker, the defense that we have, if you score 1 goal, we know that you're going to win the game. So Calafiori and Saliba, they can tell the forward players, just score 1. If you score 1 goal, you're not going to concede behind there. We are going to do well for you. And up front as well, if you have a striker like a Gyokeres, he can tell you, listen, just give me the ball once. I promise I'm going to score this chance, and you don't have to look for any other goal if the game is tougher. That's it. So it basically improves the team in every single variation for sure. And Mikel Merino as well in midfield, another player who just won a trophy. Why not keep bringing them in? I can't imagine how Manchester United will suffer in our hands next, and it's our time to shine. Cannot wait to beat them home and away again, as always. Cece says, good morning. Brother says, Suleiman, good morning to you. How are you doing? Okay. What about number 9? We've talked about that one. Next, let's go for a super number 9. I prefer Osimhen than Gyokeres, says Musa. For me, to be honest, I'm just like 55% Gyokeres, 45% Osimhen. If Osimhen signs for Arsenal right now, I'll still come here and celebrate for like 10 hours on a live stream. If Gyokeres comes to Arsenal, I'm going to come here and celebrate for 10 hours on a live stream, whichever it's going to be. Where Gyokeres edges it for me is the fact that he can get you both goals and assists. Now, in terms of numbers, I think I had it written down here. So can I remember them from the top of my head? I don't think so. What I can remember is Osimhen has scored 17 plus goals in 5 of the last 7 seasons. Those are really good numbers. And Gyokeres, the last 3 seasons, last season was his first season at Sporting, and he had 58 goal contributions. And then before that at Coventry, I think he had 18 and another one. I can't remember the numbers from the top of my head, but both of them can do it. Both of them have scored goals. Osimhen have done it for like 5-6 seasons. Gyokeres has done it for like 4. And both of them have done it in a couple of different countries. Gyokeres has done it in England before in the Championship. So both of them can score goals. But Gyokeres, he can also get you 15 assists in a season. I don't think Osimhen can get you 15 assists. So it depends. I think Gyokeres would be more happy joining Arsenal than Osimhen in terms of how we play our football. Osimhen usually wants those long balls straight to him quickly through on goal. And the way we play, we keep a lot of the possession. So I feel like he could be a bit frustrated if you don't get the ball to him quicker. I don't know. And Kevin says, hi, Glenn, watching from Kenya. I like the work Edu and Acha are doing, for sure. Awesome live stream says, okay, thank you for being here. Osimhen for me, no Gyokeres would fit our project. Osimhen for me. Osimhen for me, no Gyokeres would fit our project. Okay, I hear you. So you're choosing Gyokeres. In terms of age, Gyokeres, they were born in the same year. Gyokeres' birthday, I think, in July, and Osimhen's birthday in December. So they're very, very close in terms of age. But in terms of project, yeah, I'd agree with you. I'd go for Gyokeres as well because of those details, but Osimhen can still get you 20 plus goals. Who would hit the ground running right away? I guess that is the question. Who would come and score 20 goals for you right away? I kind of think both will, as long as you just get them the chances. Andrew says we need a striker to reduce the draws and the 3 points that could have given us the title. Yeah, those draws, Andrew, those draws against which teams? I've even just blanked last season. The draws against Liverpool, the 1-1 at their place, could easily have been a win if we could take our chances. The draws against Fulham at home, the draw against Fulham at home, the 2-2 was a mess. The loss against West Ham at home, the day we created 29 chances. If Gyokeres can come and score that hat-trick for us, he scored a hat-trick yesterday. Fantastic. So, and the other thing as well, Gyokeres is cheaper than Osimhen, so that is why it is like 30 million cheaper. So that's why it would be easy. That's why I have him as 55% for me as an option. So, Arsenal is playing in the next 4 hours. I've got to get some rest, and then I'm waking up to watch the Arsenal game. But I appreciate you guys watching. Calafiori to Arsenal is a here we go. It's a done deal. We could see him playing for Arsenal over the weekend. Medical is scheduled for tomorrow. He's flying to the USA to do his medical, as Fabrizio has said here. All sorted also between Bologna and Basel. Calafiori will sign 5-year deal. Medical in the US, deal done, and story confirmed. Like, fantastic. What else can you ask for? Absolutely fantastic. Last 2 comments. I need Gyokeres at Arsenal, says Hamed. Yeah, I would take him for sure. So the update is that we are sending scouts to watch him against Bilbao on the 27th. That will be on Saturday. So we are going to send scouts to watch him there. And then Kabri says if Arsenal have all the players we have and miss out on Gyokeres, it will be a mistake of the transfer window. And I fear it not to hurt us later, watching from Ivory Coast, Abidjan. If we do that, I still think we finish second, but I don't think we finish ahead of Man City. So Gyokeres basically would be the last piece. So I'm not worried about the other teams, to be honest. I still feel like even if you didn't sign anyone at all, I still feel like you're going to finish second. But you want to beat Man City, you want to go further in the FA Cup, you want to go further in the Carabao Cup, and you want to go further in the Champions League. And that means we need to sign a midfielder, we need to sign a striker on top of Calafiori as well. So see you guys in the morning. I'll have a match reaction immediately after the game. Thank you for watching. I'll catch up with you on the next one.